Hello, everybody. Welcome to Twin Flame Q&A. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I just fell asleep for like the last 2 hours. I was meditating and just totally zoned out. So this is going to be a good first live stream. I have to say that I'm going to be answering your questions and giving you tons of value. I haven't even had time to turn on the light and set up the space. So I want to just really claim what's been going on. I have been grounding some really higher dimensional pieces this lifetime, as I'm sure you have. Let's turn this light on and get real cozy. So let's create sacred space and just forgive the past, forgive the messiness. What happened to me when I turned 18 is I got heartbroken. And for some reason, that heartbreak allowed me to lose my sense of time. And I don't know if this happens to anybody else, but basically what happened to me is that I went from being an overachiever, incredibly on time, incredibly grounded person, an athlete, to like overnight not being able to get places on time. And so, well, you know what? Fuck the lighting. It's good enough. I just don't like this thing in the background. So, all right, pardon my little booty, but I'm going to create sacred space without this in the background. So I encourage you to create sacred space. Jack is like, don't worry about it. I'm like, no, I need it to be pretty. Pardon my booty shorts, but it's like 1,000,000 degrees here in Texas. All right, so we're gonna go over your Q&A questions that you so graciously posted in the link. And if you don't know where that link is, that's fine. I believe there is chat. So you can post your questions here about twin flames. But it's been quite a journey for me being a shaman, getting grounded. So I want to share this really openly and tenderly that for some reason, when I moved from California to Texas, I have like the hardest time getting times grounded. And I think part of it is when I moved here, we got married and I've had more love in my life than ever. So I'm just noticing that my relationship to time is an interesting one. The myth of Aphrodite, if you don't know it already, and Aphrodite is a real archetype. She's in all of us. She is the goddess of love. She's the mother goddess, the daughter goddess, and that divine feminine energy that's in all life. So Aphrodite was conceived when her father in heaven, his ball sack, got sliced off by Kronos, and Kronos, chronological, means time. So the god of time severed a testicle which fell in the ocean and created Aphrodite, and Aphrodite means sea foam, or Aphros means what has risen from the foam of the sea. So literally, I believe that humans are freeing ourselves. We are freeing ourselves from a time prison. And a lot of us divine feminine goddesses, when we go through a divine feminine awakening, we have an incredibly challenging time getting places on time. So I looked at the clock and I'm like, oh my gosh, what just happened? I went through like a time portal, I was meditating, and wow, didn't set an alarm that was loud enough. Anyways, we are here. I'm going to answer some questions. And I just want to claim that doing this live stream is like facing a fear for me, because before I was doing my business in kind of like a polished, edited way on video. And then if I did anything live stream, it was not on YouTube, not where everybody could see me, like not where some random creeps could see me. Not that that's you. I know, you're here because you're following the channel and you're awesome soul family tribe. But to be honest, being on YouTube is a very vulnerable, humbling thing, especially when you're sharing spiritual wisdom that can really empower people. There's that dark side that comes through. So I'm really excited that you're here. I'm really not excited that I I spaced out on the time for this live stream, which I've been so excited about. I have my team promoting it, and I literally have been like a little girl that's been afraid. So that means things are going to be good. Things are not going to be as grounded as I would like them to be, but this is going to happen every week. So just so you know, it's going to be every week at 11 a.m. PST, which means 2 p.m. EST. And where I'm at, that's going to be 1 p.m. But we're already at 2:36 my time. So wow. A lot of judgment that's coming through, but this is all relevant. So the work that I do, and by the way, I've never been late for a client. Ever since I started my business, I've been so present. So this is a very big deal. That it's also not a big deal because it's YouTube. Like, no one's paying for anything. They're not upset, like to the point where they're going to kill me. But for those of you who were here on time, who are like ready for your questions, there literally is a part of my soul that has been fractured that's coming back in. I'm just looking at this picture of, she has the same energy as our Statue of Liberty. This is Mary Magdalene, and also Isis, Aphrodite. It's the same archetype of the divine feminine, and these fractals are coming down and grounding. So part of being in your divine feminine is facing time, it's facing shame, it's facing the messiness. And what I've noticed is when we use the tool of just going and doing, just starting it, I call it the fuck it tool, F-U-K-K-I-T. I play around with the letters. It's not offensive, but it's like, fuck it, just do it. So I was really resistant for many, many months of doing this like live stream. Jack kept on saying, you know, babe, do the live stream. People want to learn live. So there's a lot of like, whoa, live stream. I don't know. I'm like, I fuck up technology. I'm going to have to start something new. And so if you are a divine feminine entrepreneur, leader, or twin flame who is really here to shake things up on the planet, set new paradigms, we just have to say hello to this energy that's like a stop energy, that's like a wall, and have compassion when we're moving through these walls, and just laugh. And I was just like, ah! When I saw the time, I was like, what happened, universe? I was drinking my morning coffee. I did a few things. I went to lay down and meditate, and all of a sudden, it's 2:30 in the afternoon. So Jack came in and was just like, you're awesome. I love you. It's okay. Don't worry. And I was like, wow, that was really awesome. That's just what I needed. So here's to fucking up using the fuck it tool, F-U-K-K-I-T tool. And let's get started with some of your questions. So first things first is I saw there was a little bit of a theme in the questions that were being asked. And if you are here in the Google Hangout on air, I'm also really confused because YouTube is making it like really new and awesome to use something that's like Facebook Live, and it's called YouTube Live. We tried it last night. That was really confusing, and it's like my third Google Hangout in my life. So if you can chat in the chat box, any feedback, any questions, let's make this a really, really juicy Q&A. All right, so the theme that I saw around twin flames and the questions you had around twin flames this week was really about, what do I do if my twin flame isn't ready and I'm ready? What do I do if I'm like obsessed with this twin flame, and the more I obsess about him, the more he goes away? What do I do if my twin flame is like out of alignment and I'm doing everything I can to align? So I wanted to read some of these questions a little bit deeper and address them right away. All right, so I'm going to read the ones that are like this. So if you're not completely open and surrendered to your twin flame, does that mean that you don't recognize the signs at all, or especially the truest of signs? If you're asleep to the connection consciously, is the relationship on a 3D template, but does the higher self know and communicate to your twin in the 5D? So there's kind of like, well, hey, what's happening, you know, in the 5D and the 3D, what's the connection? And then, you know, Beth said she did a Kambo ceremony and it triggered her Kundalini. And let's see, she visits these dimensions now. She's super activated. Again, a 3D, 5D question. And she feels like an energy stalker because she's so connected to her twin flame, or someone she believes to be her twin flame. And he doesn't know that that's her twin flame. So she feels like an energy stalker. So we also have, what's your best advice for getting through the dark night of the ego? I've actually not heard of that, but I think I know dark night of the soul and I know ego very well. I've gone through both. So I'm going to do my best to sort out these questions. First things first, I am going to ask my beloved for my water bottle, and let's do a little like hip opening dance. So here's my water bottle. Let's just do a little hip opening dance, open up the womb space. I'm not even seeing myself on camera right now, so feels really good to just be with you all and bring in the Aphrodite energy. I'm going to be doing some Aphrodite channeling today, some healing, activating. If you haven't noticed, I'm a little bit more free. I've been free, but I've also been kind of like releasing some really deep stuff. Shackles and past lives, we're all doing it together. We weren't, we would already be living like gods and goddesses in every moment. So we are doing this healing together. I am ready to embody you, Aphrodite, Ashtari, Inanna, Kuan Yin, Isis, Lakshmi, in the form of Aphrodite. Aphrodite. All right, so I'm getting like self-care like crazy during this call. We're going to be working some energy. Ladies and gentlemen. So I anoint you with the rose essential oil. Oh my goodness, this is such good essential oil. I love rose. And I'm going to mix it with a little bit of grounding blend. Grounding blend in doTERRA. Girl, I need this today. Ground my rose. My rose is like, woo! Been having amazing sexy times and soul family connections that blasted me open this weekend. So I'm still regrounding. All right, thank you, Aphrodite. So the first phase is to just get in joy. Joy is a vibration. We can choose it. We can go into any state we want. We are in the United States of our universe, and we can pick and choose and combine and craft whatever we like. So Aphrodite is recommending that we get into our joy, get into that heart space. There's this nice rose quartz here. So in order to receive this information, you absolutely must be in a space of joy to get the full dimension. From the fifth dimension down to the third dimension, the fifth dimension involves a whole lot of intense joy and bliss and pleasure. And that's one of the ways to access the fifth dimension here on Earth, is to get in that space. And so many of us have been programmed to be in a space of lower dimensional energy. And what I'm getting is that this is actually not a bad thing. We've had to struggle. We've had to push. Even like me getting on this call was like, woo, woo, swimming through jelly. Now I'm feeling the vibes are high. And those of you who are really meant to be hearing this, those of you who are on this call and watching and present and, ooh, let's see. Are you on? Am I on? Shoot. Let's see. Okay, let's see. I'm having a little technical difficulty because, oh, there's the screen. Okay, all right, perfect. I was already on. Whew. All right, so what I'm getting is that we're going to do a clearing, because what's happening is there are two energies that I'm seeing. And one energy is like the masculine is ready to go and ground, but he's not spiritually activated. That's a part of us. And that's like the the energy that is working is like this masculine energy is ready to go. And then there's this feminine energy that's super spiritual, and she is like got the answers and she's ready, but she doesn't have the grounding. She doesn't have the cash flow. And so she's trying to call in partners from this ungrounded space. Oftentimes she becomes too masculine. So there's this like polarity, and I'm getting how to clear this. So there is a dark order of energy that is in the collective that needs a clearing. It is through the Atlantean thread, not wanting twin flame energy to align, higher dimensional energies on the fifth dimension, gods actually that are afraid of the third dimension mucking things up. And there have been some mucks, there have been some floods, and it's like, how are we going to merge the Garden of Eden in a world that grows fungus and parasites and germs and things like that? So there's this fear of the union. And so there's been a polarity on this earth where there's a part of us that's like very blissful in the fifth dimension and joyful. And then it's like, nope, don't want to ground down there. And so that lack of accessing the third dimension is what has been creating a lot of tension, a lot of twin flame conflict, war. It's the 5D not wanting to come down, and the 3D not being smart enough isn't the word. Good enough. Not feeling good enough. So, part of it is, can we feel good enough? Can we feel God enough while our shit is shifting, while we're still in the mess of it? You know, I didn't have time to put on makeup, and I wanted to get all ready and, you know, like spruce everything up. You literally came into this call with my pants down. I'm not wearing any pants. I'm wearing like my yoga booty shorts. And, you know, can we love ourselves in this imperfection and move forward? So what will happen to those of you who are seeking your twin flame and you become obsessed with this 5D union and it's not aligning in 3D? Or what happens if you are certain someone is your twin flame and they're not waking up? So here is what I'm seeing being the answer. And I'm so like embarrassed right now because I just totally made a mess of myself today. So it's perfect. Can you love yourself through the muck? And so I'm going to dive deep in my Amanda self from Aphrodite and bring in deep love through all of these dark places where we've said we weren't worthy. So I encourage you to dive in and do this work with me and mirror with me those places in you that feel imperfect, unhealable, helpless, where you feel you need to fix your twin flame, or you're not good enough for your twin flame, or some guy out there you believe is your twin flame, you're so in love with them, but God isn't there for you because ultimately you don't feel God enough, good enough, loved enough. And love yourself through those broken places and break through those cracks with new love and new light. Holy shift. Holy shift. It's not easy, but it's doable. Loving yourself. Love yourself more tenderly than you've ever loved yourself before. Allow and trust and merge with the muck and burn through it. Those places that have been causing you to disassociate, those traumas, those parts of you that you're like, these aren't me. They're so mucky. They're so old and funky. What I'm getting is that on one hand, let it go. And on another hand, use it as fuel. Let it go. It is not you. It's an old past version. It's like poop that needs to be fertilizer, the manure that fertilizes the land to grow the rose. And it's not you. But through the circle of life, it needs to come back and nurture and feed us through this web. So can you love these places that you're releasing? And you're not saying, no, I am not that. No, I am separate. No, I don't want that, and I am resisting it. But instead, I let go and I let love. I let go and I let love. Thousands of years, we high priestesses, when we've incarnated, we have been abused, hit, punished, hung up, gotten complexes, gotten hang-ups about things that are even so beautiful and sacred. We've gotten body hang-ups. We've gotten hang-ups about being too spiritual. You know, I had a boyfriend that was like, what's up with your altar? Look at my altar, is like super big right now. It's just like a whole thing that I have another altar in the other room that we were using for the full moon, so it doesn't have a lot on it right now, but so much judgment. And we have this judgment from our twin flame or our twin flame counterfeit or our karmic soulmate or a man we meet for a moment or a woman that we think is just amazing that could be them, and it's disappears. They ghost us, they breadcrumb us, and then ghost us. Well, here is why. Because we haven't brought love to those lifetimes where we were put on a cross, where we were murdered, tortured, persecuted, or even worse than that, where we were doing that to ourselves, suppressing ourselves, staying small, and afraid of being the light and the love. And I say those lifetimes, but really this lifetime, it happened to all of us, because as children, we were so quickly conditioned to believe that we couldn't speak the word of God, Goddess, that we couldn't speak the wisdom of the higher self, the universe, right from the fifth dimension, the sixth dimension above. Even though we have this I am almighty self, this Christed wisdom of the divine feminine and the divine masculine of heaven, and here we are on earth. We haven't been able to go there because of this big wound of the heart. So, like I said at the beginning of this call, the reason I meditated and fell asleep and came to this call an hour and a half late, which is like so humiliating and so uncomfortable for me. Like my masculine actually was Jack. He came in and he was like, it's okay. It's okay. Because I think I just like flatlined. I was like, no more. I'm never doing this. He's like, you just need to put a bigger alarm. You made it too small and too short. I'm like, oh, I love you. But we have this wound in all spaces of time. And every time there's a broken heart, that is where time starts to get distorted and the alignment in the hologram starts to get distorted. So the broken heart energy is what separates the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine. And the sacred masculine and sacred feminine, they are just aspects within oneness, within ourselves, within the universe. But this one thing starts to split and become misaligned. So I really want to honor those of you who have asked these questions about your twin flame, about so-and-so is my twin flame. I've seen it in an ayahuasca ceremony, on Kambo, on mushrooms, Iboga. I don't care what medicine you are on. You will never know who your twin flame is until you become your twin flame so deeply, you are so sparked up that you burn off everything that isn't love and light. And so if you are manifesting a man who is showing up in your life saying, I don't want to be with you, if you are manifesting a situation where there's someone who's afraid to connect with you in 3D, that is not love. That is not light. yes, on one hand, it might be that that person is honoring their time and they are setting up boundaries. But in your experience, from your 3D reality, if your goal is clearly to manifest your twin flame, and you are on this call, on this hangout, because you are ready to manifest this ultimate beloved, you are ready to move forward in your life, in your soul purpose. You're ready to be a king and queen together to help and serve more people, animals, plants, planets. If you are truly a twin flame and you are allowing a toxic mirror of abandonment and pain, and you are not willing to say hell fucking no and bring out that dragon that burns it up. And it doesn't have to be hateful. It doesn't have to be mean. It can be as clean and clear as a conversation with your so-called twin flame and say, hey, I am deeply in love with you. I even have done plant medicine and seen where we have this really deep spiritual connection, and I think you feel it. Maybe I'm in my narcissistic experience of just wanting without checking in with you, but I feel a connection. And if you want to explore this, I would like to go out on a date with you, or I would like to work on this in therapy and work out what's been going on in our love life. I feel there's something there, and I honor that feeling. However, if you don't choose to come with me now, or by next Thursday, or by next month, for me and my beloved, I wanted 1 month. I said, if you cannot marry me and get clear and put that ring back on my finger in 1 month, then I will take it as a sign that we're not in alignment. It was the scariest thing. You know me, I'm the twin flame matchmaker. And I'm like, guys, my man is like freaking out about marriage and he's going through a thing because he's 27 and doesn't know. And it's so scary. It's like, I'm going to just like totally lose my, my marbles all over again. And he said, I honor and respect your month. I cannot do that, but I can give you 3 months. If you give me 3 months, I can go through everything on my checklist of why I'm hung up. I have some areas that I need clarification with. The reason that I haven't been ready to be married hasn't been an immaturity issue. It's been me not being clear about what I want. And I met you, you're older, you're 9 years older. We have this age gap. I've been going along with your timing, and I never stopped to breathe and ask, what does Jack want in terms of marriage, in terms of career, in terms of this, from a really still place? So I need to go to Texas and meditate on it for 10 days. And then I need 3 months. And so we did that. And here we are. It turns out he fell in love with Texas and brought me to it. And I've fallen in love with Texas. I've had some days where I'm like, what's up with this Texas thing? But I'm actually really grateful to be in this happening, amazing city of such heart-based people in the heart of America. It's really the heart, this heart space. And it has a lot of heart wounds, as we all do. So going back to why women, so if you're in this case, in this situation of you think you know someone's your twin flame, or you want them to be your twin flame, or even you haven't even met someone yet and you're already obsessed with them. I literally had an obsession with a TV actor from Friday Night Lights, that cute guy, whatever his name was, for a while. And I was like masturbating about him. I was like, man, I want to go like that. And I created like this almost comical experience of like, you know what, I'm not ready to fall in love. I'm just obsessed about like this guy. My obsession is coming out. But that obsessive space, it's a real thing. And this is a form of the I'm getting the word devil. When Eve can go off track and want that apple, like, maybe I should fall in love with this man before he's really ready for me. Maybe I should fall in love with that tall, dark, and handsome stranger and maybe get pregnant and have his babies. I mean, I've had lifetimes like that. Or, this lifetime it was, hey, there's this gorgeous Italian man. I'm 20 years old. I'm just going to follow his word that he wants to see me again and really wants me to come back to Florence, Italy. So I flew back to Florence from California, and turned out he had a girlfriend and didn't even meet with me.
3:00.
Where he said he would meet with me. And I got so heartbroken. So when we have this, it's because we have a heart block. We have an unhealed heart wound, and it's deep. It is very deep, and it is ruling us. It is ruling our decisions in life. It's ruling what job we'll take. It's ruling the timeline of our business launch. Heartbreak wounds rule whether or not we feel good enough. Because if we have a heart wound, which connects to the third chakra, the solar plexus, the am I good enough space, the I am powerful or I'm not powerful space, that dictates, is the heart open or closed? So if we are in that I'm not good enough for love, then we keep attracting men who abandon us, disappoint us. And then what we do is our mind starts tuning into all of this evil of Eve energy, this shadow aspect of Eve. And Eve is the same as Aphrodite. She wants you to know she is actually the Eve that has never fallen out of love. But they're the Eve that has plucked the apple, and that whole like kind of shadow side that the Bible, that human consciousness has been kind of learning about over the last few thousands of years. That evil, that Eve, has come from the broken-hearted Aphrodite, and that is Aphrodite Androphanos. That is the murderous archetype of Aphrodite. It's also known a little bit as Kali, the dark feminine destroyer. And that Eve, that Kali, that Aphrodite Androphanos, the killer of men, as she's known, she has a very polarized aspect of herself. This is something that I teach in the bachelorette's degree program. So if you're a student at Aphrodite University, you'll want to hang out when we do the month of Aphrodite Androphanos, the killer of men, because it's truly the archetype of all of us women when we go into the deepest, deepest pain where our heart has been ripped out and eaten by a man. Maybe it was even before this lifetime. Maybe it was just, I know people that were born into families of divorce, or they were never married and there was arguments, and they grow up without a chance to have a whole and healed heart from the start, and they have to spend their lives doing this work. So think about how valuable it's going to be when you are united with your twin flame and you become a model for other human beings, for other children to see your love, or if you choose to have your own children, how lucky these star children will be being seeded from a whole and healed sperm that has come from an awakened heart chakra. Everything's a mirror. The sperm, the seed, it is this single-celled creature that is the heartbeat, the essence of love in a man, from his masculine, from his sexuality. The same with the ova, the feminine heartbeat, seed, egg. And this merging creates this new star child. And when that heart is healed and happy and whole, and that child is conceived in love, they have the Garden of Eden already encoded in them. We have been going through this fall of Eve, this devastation, this disappointment, this heartbreak. And so many women are lost in blaming, in trying to fix and figure out from this disempowered place, how do I get my twin flame to love me? How do I get this man? And I have to share, as a twin flame expert who has done this work for a few years now, and I have been on many websites, and I've been watching all types of love coaches and studying all types of love coaching and healing and metaphysics. Turn on my little pink light here. All different demographics are asking the same thing in different ways. The twin flame crowd is saying, why is my twin flame running? The abused women, women that have been abused with the domestic violence. Why is my husband hurt me and then leave me? Matthew Hussey, one of those big mainstream guys, it's why is he breadcrumbing me? Why is he disappointing me? Why do men disappoint me? Why? And I'm going to be doing a video and releasing it tomorrow. Why do men disappoint? Because this is not just in the twin flame community. This is not just about you and your twin flame, why he's running. This is about all of us women and all of us men embodying Adam and Eve and the pain of separation of the twin flames when we were seeded, when our DNA was created during Genesis. And part of me is channeling. I'm like, I don't know what I'm saying. This is intense stuff. But during Genesis, there was a separation of the feminine and the masculine. And then now we're coming back together now that we have grown up as Adam and Eve, and the twin flames are coming together to merge. And when we do this, we are so much more powerful than the single strands of DNA. It's like we create Those united 2 strands of DNA awaken into the fully realized 12 strands of DNA. 1 plus 1 doesn't equal 2, it equals 11, which is the 12 strands of DNA. So 0 through 11 corresponds with the chakras 0 to 11, which is really 12 chakras, and the 12 months of the year, the 12 apostles, the 12 archetypes of Aphrodite. There's so much coming through this DNA activation. So the answer, why you're here on this call, and there's 22 viewers here, 22 is a sacred number, is to be loved. Is to be loved in those places where you've been unwilling to love, afraid to love, unable to love. Okay, so let's talk about this. You have been unable to love. I have been unable to love. Aphrodite, who's a part of all of us, she's embedded in all of us. She's been unable to love through us because we believed. We believed no one would love us. And that started with us believing that we could not love ourselves. So I have to laugh because I literally started this call with feeling like my pants were down. I didn't have time to get all dolled up. I usually throw on like a skirt, but here I am, I'm all pulse of power and my little booty shorts and just like coming as I am and realizing it's still so fun and so beautiful and so real. And you're here. So if you are being a twin flame chaser, I know it's hard to admit. I know it's scary. I know the divine feminine has been chasing and been abandoned and chased and been abandoned. And finally, when she receives someone in, a lot of times, poof, he disappears once she finally feels safe and open. If you're manifesting this, if you're manifesting painful patterns in your love life, it's your opportunity to love deeper. And what I hear is that it's an opportunity to lead deeper into these, even these shadow aspects of the divine feminine. We use 12 aspects, 12 archetypes of Aphrodite. Right now we're coming into Aphrodite Gentrix, who in June, she is the goddess of creation from that divine mother, Mother Mary. She is the giver of life. She's fertility. She's the Virgin Mother who conceives immaculately. And we have that side in us that has been walked on, raped on, stepped on, really, and we've been doing it ourselves. So what I'm getting is, if you are chasing after these men, there's a part of you that is really ready to claim the polar opposite archetype, which is the murderess, Aphrodite Minjantis, that Kali, like, motherfucker, what are you doing? Just being big and bold and like, it's okay. It's okay to be a mess. It's okay to be where you're at and just standing for love. And again, it's really like this murderess who's willing to do whatever it takes to be loved, but blending that with the other side, who is very vulnerable, very unconditionally lovable. She'll take love in any form. She doesn't need love. She's already unconditional, and blending those. So what that looks like, if you are overly passive, the martyr Mary, and you are overly aggressive, you're scaring him off, you're stalking him, you're stalking him psychically, you are possibly Facebook stalking him, he feels it, he knows it, he's going to be repulsed, he's going to feel very uncomfortable. It's that same kind of rapey energy that men have had into our womb spaces. Men don't like it into their energy fields. When they feel your energy in their psyche, they're like, dude, get away. And sometimes they do like some of it for the healing aspect. So they'll take and let you in, but then they'll be like, no, not there. So sometimes I'll see it where they'll let you have a cord in a certain chakra. You're like, oh, I'm so in love. I have my cord in his chakra. He loves me. Meanwhile, he's fucking all these other women because he's not cording you in the second chakra, or he's like, connecting with many other women, not committed, but he'll give you this little scrap. And so then it can actually lead to energy vampirism, where he will just take and take and take, but you'll feel so in love. And oh my God, I was there for 5 years. And it wasn't until I met my man who said, you got to kick this guy's energy out. I can feel him. I can see him. And I was like, I need to talk to him for closure. Finally got on the phone. He was still unavailable like he was 5 years before, but he still wanted my healing energy. He was still asking for business coaching ideas. He had launched this $350,000 company and gotten a business partner and grants and was like moving for it. So he's like, oh, help me. You're this priestess. And I was like, we are still where we were 5 years ago. You're still not showing up. I am going to be with the man that's showing up, who's worth it, who's giving me his heart, his everything. But I know how scary it is. So that's why I want to offer those of you who are truly ready to look and leap and release all of the spiders, all of the fear, all of the muck, and burn it off. I have some spots for a twin flame activation session. I should have mentioned that I was going to share this at the beginning, but because I was kind of channeling out of my body, I didn't do that. But I do want to offer more opportunities for those of you who have been following me on YouTube for a little while. You are in the Twin Flame tribe. You are doing whatever it takes. I want to support those of you who are really ready to either find your twin flame to birth star children, or to find your twin flame and take your soul purpose blissnesses. I work with badass boss babes, love leaders. You're here to create the new earth, and you are done waiting around in your pain, waiting for Prince Charming to come, but you have some patterns and you keep trying to clear it yourself. You're doing this work. If you don't have time for this, because you have a big purpose and you just don't want to spend your time as a goddess muddling around, piddling around with muck, you're ready to transmute. Let's do this. Let's hop on a 30-minute twin flame activation session. And for a while, I changed the name to Beloved Breakthrough because people were saying, hey, Amanda, when's the activation part going to come? And I was sitting in meditation recently and I realized, well, okay, of course they were getting activated, but they were expecting like, or like, me like spraying them with like pussy power activation or something. Because I was actually doing deep activation work on a different level. And so I want to be really clear about that. But what I was getting this morning is like, holy shit, here's exactly where and how to do the activation. And it's to bring them into the state while they're getting super clear on their vision of their twin flame union. Like they are conceiving and crafting it with my presence. And I'm going to take you through an activation to actually charge up your vision, almost like breathe life into it and create a roadmap to helping you birth it. And what I believe is that many of us twin flames have an equal amount of fear. We have an equal amount of not hate, but sometimes a little resistance to finding our twin flame. And I know I had that. And what this looks like, my sister, if you are scouring the blogs and videos and you're coming to all these things and you're like so devoted to learning about twin flame stuff, and yet time goes by, maybe months go by, or even years go by, or even one of my clients who hired me and just cleared up I think like 15-year piece with a twin flame counterfeit. He actually knocked on her door, came from another country, knocked on her door and was like, I need to clear with you, as we were doing our course, Let Go, Let Love. And she's letting him go and grieving. It's so beautiful because I saw her twin flame next to her saying like, that wasn't me. That was my shadow. That was a different version of me. That was then. Let's do this. And I told her, and she was like, yeah. So let's do this work. Let's dive in deep. So when I work with my clients, usually they work in a big, juicy container. I do have this intro session. It's called a twin flame activation session, but it's a very committed, very big transformation that you will make in your life. It's not like a quickie free session. It is not just a sales call where I'm trying to enroll you in something, although it is really a place to see what are your next steps. And if we have a soul contract and we see that and you feel that, then we will break you through to your twin flame. And that's what this space could be about. So I want you to really feel in, are you ready? Are you really ready to make this big life shift commitment and see what pieces are out there? And really, women, it's our time to claim our power and know anytime you work with a healer, a guru, I'm a twin flame expert, it's what I do. You still have the power. You always must have the power to come from your own truth. So if we meet on this conversational call and you get all of your downloads and buttons are pushed and we blast through it and we clear it, we activate it and you're super clear and you feel like there's a soul yes to moving forward, or you feel that there's a soul no for moving forward in some capacity at Aphrodite University or in coming to Bali with me. We're leading a retreat on 11/11 in Bali, and women are starting to manifest the money for that, and it's getting signed up. It's so exciting. We're going to be making self-marriage rings. I'm not wearing mine because I'm wearing my my wedding ring to Jack, but actually I want to put my self-marriage ring back on my right hand now that my knuckle is healed. Great reminder. So bringing this down, if you are ready, if you are really ready, and you're also ready to clear through this energy where there's been polarity in the twin flames, wanting to obsess and work on it, but then not really work on it, I'm happy to call out whatever shit is in your space and clear it out. It's not even you. It's going to be fuel for the new you. But I'm excited, and you don't need to be afraid. It's scary as fuck, but you don't need to be afraid. We're going to be having such a blast. So this twin flame activation session, again, it's only for super committed applicants. It's for women that are going somewhere in life. They're not just circling and willing to stay there. So go to aphroditeuniversity.org and check out the application page. It's aphroditeuniversity.org/activate. And I'm doing these calls in a sacred way. And it's also part of my blissness. It's my business. It's my bliss. It's my joy. These conversations and calls have turned into lifelong friendships, into collaborations, into women joining our sisterhood and creating businesses and yoni healing projects and going and moving to Bali or moving to other countries out of this work. One of my favorite success stories is one of my students who was actually a professor in England, and she came to me and I was like, you know what? I'm just feeling your soul saying you want to get the fuck out of England and move to Bali. And I'm just seeing that. She's like, it's so funny. You say that because I've always imagined like meeting my twin flame in Bali. And I was like, do it. Let's do it. Let's map this out. And so basically in her twin flame activation session, she already made that commitment to moving forward with her dream in Bali. And she just got married in Bali to her Dutch twin flame, and they're now in Holland traveling, but they're going back to Bali, and they've created this business together, and it's just so amazing to see what happens. So I would love to channel through and really hold space for your sacred vision, because women like Diane who are living their dreams, she's working full-time as a coach now, she's making financial abundance, she and her twin flame are launching a love coaching program and are looking for a love coaching retreat center. I mean, these are the big things that come out when we cast out those fear pockets and we look at the divine potential. And here's the thing, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, I'm messy, look at my hair, sometimes I have like the salon styled hair and makeup, and sometimes I'll do a little like facial magic to get my skin looking perfect. And other times I feel like, you know what? Going primal. I am Aphrodite Praxis. She is just the wild woman. She is the rewilded goddess who just doesn't give a fuck. And so we're going to use these different archetypes in the twin flame activation. So enough said about that. AphroditeUniversity.org. /activate and just apply for the session if you feel called. Filling out the application in itself is a very grounded thing. Like, you're not just watching another video, which is great. Like, videos are so transformational. I follow so many different YouTubers. I get a lot of knowledge and inspiration every day. Not every day, but every week on YouTube. I love Jenna Marbles. She makes me pee my pants laughing. And Julian, they're such gorgeous twin flames. They're like, I think, some of the top people on YouTube, and their dogs. I just love them too. So, in conclusion today, what we really covered is, in summary, Amanda was caught with her pants down and came to her own live stream video an hour and a half late. Then she told the story of how Aphrodite was conceived by this violent action of Father God, Uranus, being castrated and his testicle coming into the sea, creating a full-grown Aphrodite, which represents the Anunnaki that created an experiment that separated our DNA, creating that 2-strand DNA that is limited, that we're no longer in the 5D, we're stuck, we're trapped on Earth. And the story of Adam and Eve being the seductress who, conceived herself through that seed, that apple, that ball sack that came through. Perhaps Aphrodite was doing things in the sky that we'll learn more about. Then I talked about this ancient heartbreak that, I shared my heartbreak in high school at age 17, 18 years old. I went from being incredibly responsible with time, being on time, like super high achieving, A student, got into a top university, graduated with high marks, and then just couldn't follow time. And so here I am still learning how to ground. And thank you for your patience, for letting me offer my channelings in this somewhat new space. This is my first time doing my own Google Hangout, and this is my first time. I don't even know if I'm going to do Google Hangout or the live stream. I'm still figuring out how it works. Even YouTube is creating all this new stuff. Just this week, I got this button that said community, and I've seen other YouTubers in the last few weeks getting it. It's like, wow, there's like a whole new dimension that we're accessing. We're able to have a community on YouTube, not just in Facebook Lives. So I feel like I'm just like really exposing my real self. If you look at my earlier videos, you'll realize, I was working with a coach who was like, don't be your real self, put on makeup, put on high heels, put on lots of, like editing, and then, you can go out there and share your message. And that's really stopped me from serving you, because some days I just don't like to put on makeup. Some days I don't like to be a hostess with the mostest. Sometimes I like to be the hostess with the meestess, just being me. And some days, like, I don't know if you're following Jinty Fell, but she's one of my total inspirations for how fast she's built a YouTube channel and all these beautiful places she goes to. Many of them I've been to, or some of them I've been to. Lived abroad in Australia and in Brisbane, and that's where she just returned to. And she goes to Bali and all these places. Anyways, Jinty just this week, who's an expert on the law of attraction, an expert on yoga and self-care, says, hey, I'm having a bad month here. I've been sick for a month. I've been afraid to share it because I wanted to be in that positive thinking, wanted to use the law of attraction, didn't want to, bring my audience into knowing that I've been really sick and under the weather. And I realized that was me. And there's something about YouTube, something about being a social media celebrity that I've been really resisting. A wall that I have been, Amanda, and also this archetype of the priestess who is aligning with the twin flame energy, who's aligning with like mainstream masculine heavy Illuminati codes and judgment. Like, you don't know what happens when you become a celebrity. You're going to meet all kinds of people, and it's going to be beautiful, and it can also be really intense. And so I've been kind of hiding and playing a little bit small at times, dipping in and dipping out. And I realized, because I don't want to be that woman who blows up and loses herself and gets sick. And so many women in our media have done that. Hollywood, of course, great example. A lot of addiction, alcoholism, drug addiction, prescription drugs, a lot of eating disorders that are glamorized, a lot of food addictions that are glamorized. So many women in abusive relationships in Hollywood. And last year, when we really started to grow our channel, I started to take in a lot of toxic energy. And this is something that I think needs to be discussed if you're a New Earth leader, especially if you're going to be doing online platforms on social media, especially YouTube, because it's such a powerful tool. I love YouTube. It's my favorite place to hang out with y'all, as well as, you know, like my own little like new moon circle with Zoom. Zoom is awesome too. But right now, I feel like we are creating a shift for the collective as women are rising onto these platforms as priestesses who have these ancient light codes. There are faces of the goddess are being restored, and we're all faces of the goddess. When we align with our love and light, our DNA actually activates. So we become gods and goddesses. We become kings and queens. We become Adam and Eve again. We become the twin flames. It's not about, do I have a twin flame? Are you my twin flame? Is this a twin flame relationship? Are you the twin flame? Are you the love and the light? Now, again, there are so many things out there. YouTube, time, all the things on my to-do list that I have. So proud that I started off with self-care, yoga, and meditation. But yeah, all that stuff out there, ladies and gentlemen, and anyone in between, we are rising this new paradigm. And it takes being bold and brave and believing in ourselves. So in conclusion, thank you for believing in me, in this wild woo-woo woman. I am wise, I am badass, and I'm also a goofball. I am also an ignoramus or naive. I am a wise ancient woman, a grandmother, grandparent, and I'm also an innocent young new soul. That is the divine child. And that is the twin flame energy, is the alignment of divine child, third density, divine parent, God, goddess, the 5D or 6D, the higher dimensions. It really is an infinite spectrum. But these two, heaven and earth, they are one world at the heart, and that is the twin flame feminine and the twin flame masculine. That is the mess. That is the no time, no space, the amorphous. And then we have the solid, the logical, the linear, that this is how it has to be. So I close my hands together in ritual, making a prayer for women and men like you to rise and to take ourselves seriously and to take our medicine and magic seriously, even when it's a struggle, even when it might be perceived as not good enough, especially by ourselves. That may we rise and stand and lead and move forward. With that, I want to offer you one more time during this hangout that I do encourage you to apply for this twin flame activation session. It's an upgraded session. I've brought in some of this energy of the beloved from Mary Magdalene's codes, and we're going to create a higher dimensional activation by looking at those uncomfortable blind spots, but most of all, really looking at what you're here to create. And I'm going to create that incubator, that safe space, that place that doesn't allow limiting beliefs, those BS's, belief systems. We can't have this, or men are like this, men disappoint. This happened in my past. My dad was like this. Men always show up like this. I don't know what I'm doing. We'll clear it all out so it's crystalline, twin flame, love, and light aligned. We'll also really look at what are the challenges that you're going to have to overcome. Let's create a roadmap. Let's create some tools, that sword and shield, whatever you need. And let's move forward with this activation needs. So AphroditeUniversity.org/activate. Thank you for being with Wonky and Wild. Amanda, this mother-to-be that is mothering you in this moment from a place of, holy shit, parenthood is beautiful. I am learning. Not pregnant yet. Jack and I are working on that. Last year we worked on our marriage pictures. Now we're working on baby pictures. But we're going to Bali first. So 11/11, hope to see you in Bali. If you're interested in that, fill out the application form as well and put a comment like, interested in Bali, want to learn about that. Oh my gosh. I want to go put on my self-marriage ring. If you haven't seen my self-marriage ring, here's like my jewelry thingy. Let's see. Here it is. Oh my goodness, I love it. Okay, I'm going to show you two things before we go. If you're still here and you want to see my crazy jewelry collection, by the way, this is the guest room where my mother will be staying while we merge into Aphrodite Gentrix, which is fun. So bringing in this like feminine love. So Bali is an incredibly feminine space. And here is the ring that I made. And it is this pink crystal. It's actually not rose quartz. I thought it was rose quartz, and I can't remember the name of it, but I'll ask my friend when I go there. So Pele Jewelry is a $1 million gorgeous Australian run company. I don't know if it's actually $1 million, but it feels like it's so rich. If you go to pelejewelry.com. So this ring we handcraft in Bali at the Pele Jewelry headquarters at this gorgeous retreat space. And the woman who creates all the designs, she's one of my BFFs. She does a ceremony and she blesses the flower with this holy water that's soaked in flower petals and has been blessed from crystalline springs from the volcanic springs of Bali. And we pick out 3 different rings. It's so cool. She puts them all out on the table. They're these high vibrational gemstones, crystals, and pearls, freshwater pearls. And you just know, you're like, that's what I need. That it just channels. And we go through an exercise of really setting our intentions. And each crystal has an intention. So this was my masculine, you know, it's like very crystalline. It's the diamond cutting edge. And then I have the pearl, which is my egg, my feminine. And then there's the heart of the twin flame union coming together. It's a big heart. And I actually wore this beautiful self-marriage ring after performing the self-marriage ceremony on 11/11/11 in Bali. So I had this ring during the 3 months when Jack and I were in separation. We weren't actually in separation, we're actually getting closer. We were working all of our fear pictures, all of the twin flame runner and separation and family karma that we were burning through. He said, you know, I think we have to take the rings off for now. So I went, put my wedding ring down, which I love this wedding ring. It is just so cute and simple and me, and reminds me of the tattoo that was in my dream. He didn't know this, but it looked a lot like this ring, this dream that I had. I'll talk about it another time because I already talked a lot. But having a self-marriage ring that you can place on your your ring finger, if anything happens to your twin flame. And that's another piece I really wanted to mention, but I didn't mention, is ladies, if you ever get so codependent on your twin flame that you fear if he leaves you that you're not going to survive, or that it's not your twin, that you can't have twin flame energy, or that that's your only twin flame, like that scarcity kind of energy, we can't think that. We can't give our power away to that illusion. Twin flame love is everything. And yes, we may only have one twin flame this lifetime. We may only have one twin flame in all of our lifetimes, but it comes from the opposite of scarcity. It comes from knowing that we are loved no matter what. We can create that. So when I put this ring on my ring finger, as I'm doing now, I'm activating it with the love of Aphrodite. This finger represents Aphrodite Venus. If you don't know, the planet Venus and Aphrodite are the same. Aphrodite is the Greek name for Venus, the goddess of love, or the planet Venus. And I bring this onto my ring finger of my own hand, and I honor that as I bring together my wedding ring. And may this align the feminine love, the masculine energy, and all of us, sisters of Aphrodite, the sea of love. Wow, thank you so much for hanging out. There's so many of you here that joined. I'm still learning how to do the chat box, so I posted in the chat box. I didn't see anybody there, but I think that's because we're on Google Hangouts, and it just, I think you have to have the Google Hangout link. Might want to try this next time with live stream. I'm learning, super excited. But we did tune in live. Again, apologies for being off in heaven, meditating an hour and a half late. And I forgive myself, and I forgive the struggles that the feminine has gone through. We have shown up. We have gotten here. Thank you for being here, my sister or brother. Namaste. Namasko. Bye for now. Oh, P.S. Save the date. One last thing. Save the date for the new moon. It is on the 13th. We're going to do it live. New moon in Gemini. It's going to be awesome. And then same thing next week, but we are going to meet on time. And I'm actually going to shift my schedule around next week so that I don't have this happen. I had a few things booked on the calendar back to back that, yeah, really excited to see you at 1 p.m. CST, my time, which is 2 hours earlier, 11 a.m. PST and 2 p.m. EST. And whatever time zone you're in, I hope you're doing amazing. So much gratitude and blessings. Bye for now.